was that let me see. So let's bring up Blakey James so we can have a bit of a laugh, because it's a good way. Laughter is a good way. Um, so one of his famous ones is there's three really, and there's the history of New Zealand, and there's learns Japanese, and it's just fun. I mean, this is like the 80s, right? And when you could like have a laugh and it'll be okay, and people wouldn't get upset, and you know there wasn't a PC culture. PC culture came in about 1990s, and that I think is the start of the destruction of freedom of language, of speech, of just people just crossing boundaries, laughing at themselves, laughing at each other, and in that humor, uh, you know, you learn so much about each other. Like like why don't you let Indians play soccer? Because they'll put up a dairy at every corner. It's, stuff like that. And I learned it when I was a kid, and I was like, at the first I was like, that is quite funny, and I was like, oh, that's annoying. But then I was like, but it's funny, because it's true, right? It's stereotypical, but it's true, and that's the kind of the thing that we kind of think is like, yeah, it's true, but there's a humor in that because the fun comes out of the fact that yeah, it's true, and so you kind of relate to that, and then you laugh, and then but that here's the thing. So you'll have some people who go, oh, how dare you, but they miss out on the fact that you go, well, how about I tell you a joke about you guys? See, then you got communication. Then you go, oh, all right, there's a laughter there, right? So now you get to enjoy each other's jokes and stuff. Like even the other night, right? So I was talking, I got a message from my sister while I was standing talking to someone on Facebook because I was trying to say, you know, I was showing somebody something, and it came up on my, messenger, and it goes, oh, one of your friends that showed up at this comedy show that I went to. Oh, that's Mike. And then I turned to the other guy, goes, Mike's a horror writer. And he goes, that sounds kind of Maori. Oh, horror. Yeah, horror writer. And so I go, I wish, you know what I should do? I should see if there's any, if there's a Maori speaker here, I could turn around. And so I turn around, and there's a 65-year-old dude right behind me with his family, and he's Maori. And I go, bro. So me and him, we're talking about like, he reckoned, like, because just before that we said like kura, because kura is Maori for school. He goes, oh, it must be. Hey, brother, welcome. So he goes, kura. So he goes, Woody goes, yeah, kura's Maori for school. So maybe it's the same word for writer. And I go, bro. Uh, so me and him are talking. Do you reckon it's is it kura for writer, or is it something else? He goes, thinks about it, goes, yeah, it's kura. I go, oh yeah. And then me and him and I, we had a friggin' half an hour to an hour conversation about his work, his life, and about how he's works at the Maritime Union, and he's worked as a maritime worker on the ports for 50 years. And I said to him, hey man, like 50 years, dude. When I left school, right, I went and did a year at I dropped out of fifth form, right, March of fifth form, so it's 2 months in or 3 months in into my fifth form. So I never graduated from high school or anything. And so I so I said to him, look, I went to because we're talking about unions, right? And I said to him, look, when I was 17, I was getting paid $6.20, $6.50 an hour. And every month, every week, once a month, a guy would come in and go up, talk to the boss about unions. And I said to my boss, I said, what's this about? He goes, oh, well, when they come in once, every week, I give them $2 out of your wages. I go, why are they getting $2 out of my wages? Go, well, because they're supposed to look after you, make sure that we, think. I said, but but we were right. He goes, yeah. Because I said, well, so I'm losing $2 a week, and was it $2.60? But the thing is here, right? I'm getting $6.50 an hour, so I'm thinking $2.50 is a lot because that's a comic book, right? Or half a yeah, I think it's about a comic book at that time. So I'm going, well, I could save that and buy me a comic. So I go in and say, look, you know what? I don't want to be part of the union because I don't really understand, right? Because the whole factory workers and hospitality workers union type thing, don't really understand about that situation back then. So I just never was part of a union ever since. And then I said to him, look, every couple of years I just changed jobs according to how I felt. I spent 3 years learning to be a filmmaker, got a bachelor's degree in filmmaking, digital media, right? Then I did 2 years, got a diploma in art and all that stuff. And I've got various, and so I never really stuck to anything more than maybe 4 years. Yeah, I don't think I ever stuck to a job more than 4 years. So and I started working when I was 16 and a half, right? So, some jobs I only stayed for a week or two, and that was it. And on some, I just promised I'd never come back the next day, and I was there for 4 years or 3 years, And but so I'm 50 now, so that's like 34 odd years of working, and but various elements. And so now, because of all those different things I've done over the last 34 years, I've able to build up a whole lot of different skill sets, and which has come in very handy now as I finally decided that this is what I want to do, which is create comics, put on conventions and pop culture and stuff. And just finished my 5th convention this year, in a row for each year, right, annually. And so yeah, so I'm watching, so having chat and like, remember we're having conversations that started about, because we're having a laugh about like horror writer, right? But it sounds Maori because horror, because horror is actually a little club here, a little school called Horror, Hora, right? And that's what we kind of think about. But let's have a look at Billy. Billy, oh God, Billy was champion. I've always loved Billy T. James. Got the comic books, got the DVDs, used to watch it in the 80s, his family show and his stand-up and everything. Yeah, mate. It was a legend. He will always be our icon. So let's. Is it on?
Up there for repairs later on this week. Greetings. Oh dear. Jolly good to meet you. All right. Now say after me, air. Air. Very good. Yes. Now say hair. Yes, that's right. Yes. Now say lair. Now run them all together. 1, 2, 3. Here, here, there. Hello, how do you
You never, you never think it was gonna end up to, right? Like, there's this classic, you're saying, oh, there's gonna be something very, you know, very deep and concise, this is my such and such and such and such. And but like just brilliant, it's just yeah. So the other one I want to play is this one by the Japanese. This one always got me. And it's it's just about language. And you know, one of the things that you'll notice, like what has made what's his name? That Indian guy from Canada. Gosh. Anyway, yeah, yeah, that's the one, but yeah, stand up. Yeah, so who's the Indian guy? Ruben? No. Anyway, you probably know him. He's very famous as an Indian comedian, and he was married to some porn star for a while. It doesn't work out. I hear when you're married to that sort of, and you want to get into a one-on-one relationship with someone who, well, it doesn't. Yeah. Anyway, so but he himself, right, works with accents. And uh, like one of the interesting things about that is, like I've said, comedy breaks boundaries, right? Comedy has this amazing way to get to the heart of the matter of through stereotypes. And uh, and it's sort of like, for a moment, if you can be, oh, you shouldn't say that, and then you really think about it, and then you just watch everybody else, and they're laughing and enjoying themselves, and you kind of think, well, why are they laughing? And then why don't you ask them why they're laughing? And they'll tell you. The problem with a lot of times when you watch a comedy now, it's like people just start hurling insults and stuff. Oh, you shouldn't say that, and yet like 99% of people are laughing and enjoying themselves. And a lot of times I think it's because that people think that you should protect the other people. You shouldn't let those other people hear what's being said, rather than letting those people make up their own minds. And the cool thing is here, right? So this is years before I actually had a Taiwanese girlfriend. Yet watching Billy talk in this way, you sort of like, there's this the boundary breaking that people don't get when it comes to comedy. And I think that's what's being lost by this atrocious PC culture that we've taken on board. I mean, even I have at times when, oh, you shouldn't say that. I was like, and then like, damn it, why'd I even say that? I'm being moron, but that's because, we kind of been taught now to like be very defensive about everything. And I think comedy is the one bastion that we have, that we just let people just say what you got to say, and then later on go, well, why did you laugh at that joke? What was funny about that? Because a lot of time it's misunderstanding about things that gets people up in arms. And like I said, when I turned to the guys, they're like, "This is what we're talking about, and this is what I want to ask you about." And now we've got an hour-long deep conversation about a guy's whole life, because we're having a laugh, and about words. And and then totally just broke the whole barrier to having a conversation for an hour. And he's talking about his whole family, and how he's brought them up, um, and how proud he is of them, and how much dedication is put onto his family lives. And then we also started talking about how our culture, especially Maori culture, had been ruined by DBV, and how when and certain things that we're discussing about. And it just that had to do with the community that has affected a lot of families and homes in the last, he said, since '70s, he said, right, because he was around then. Like I wasn't even in New Zealand at the time. I only came here in '81. And that's like 40. 41 years ago, you know, no, yeah, 41, 50, yeah. And but he said, yeah. I said, I noticed it in the 90s, and he said, yeah, it was in the 70s when they brought that whole DPP thing in, and he said that's when it started going downhill for families, and that's why you had a lot of parents that didn't stay in the home. So you had divorce rates, you had like split families, you had solo parenting, because the government suddenly was giving you money to not be at the house, right? The responsibility was taken away from the parent, like from the dad. Dad could go and fling around, get as many babies happening, and have no responsibility for the one he had actually just had with someone, right, his partner. And so we're talking about that deep conversation, and all because we were joking about a word, you know, and yeah, and this is how, you know, why I say comedy is so important. So let's have a look at the stand-up one. This is one of the freaking, you know, like I said, one of the best. Am I all set up? Yep.
I've been learning. You know what I've been doing? No, what have you been doing? I've been learning how to speak Japanese. Eh? Have you? Yeah. It's really easy too. Eh? I'll show you how I learned. Because I used to watch that. What's that program? Shogun. Remember that? Remember that fella in Shogun? Used to walk around like this. And I thought I can do that. So I want to learn how to speak Japanese. So I went to this old Japanese fella, and he said, there are 3 things you must learn in order to speak Japanese properly. And what's that? First, you must learn how to feel the cold. Right? This is so you can get that. Secondly, you must have experienced constipation. No, listen, no, seriously. No, shut up, listen. Constipation. This is so you can get that. Right? Yes. And then, thirdly, you must have experienced amnesia. Right? So you forget everything you ever learned, like that, and you have perfect Japanese. So I did. And you put all those 3 ingredients together, you have perfect Japanese. First of all, learn how to feel the cold. Secondly, constipation. Thirdly, amnesia. Perfect Japanese comes out like this.
Classic. Is, yeah. And, you know, that's just brilliant, you know, and that laugh is his signature laugh. One thing I noticed in there was when he, no, listen, shut up. Ricky Gervais does that now. I'm not sure if you guys noticed that, but like Ricky Gervais does that. That's the first thing that when he said that, I was like, yeah, no, shut up. Right. And I've heard Ricky say that a lot, and I didn't notice it before until that moment. So one thing I want to show is like, this is a katana, right? A metal blade. So I just thought I'd mention it, I mean, bring it out because it arrived this week, last week. Yeah, it's a year ago. I got it a year ago, but it was still sitting at my cousin's place up in Auckland. I got gifted this for when I visited a store warehouse for the store from one of the guys that I worked with last year at the anime and K-pop festival in Auckland, gaming festival. So hopefully they're doing it again this year. But like we kind of did our part in helping them with that. So, but yeah, this is a metal one. I got a wooden one there as well, which is part of the anime thing. So yeah, it was just cool. Like, I mean, I didn't realize, like, here I am at 50, right? After watching that in the 80s, that I would actually have a, a katana and such. But this is from the anime series. I can't remember which one it is, but I'm sure you guys are, will recognize it as anime fans.